Now you want to talk about it?
We got 2 minutes.
You said on the line.
How you doing?
Well.
You can't see your pictures, you can't vote, but you can listen.
Okay.
Turn mine on too.
Just so you know, Teresa,
Yeah, it's always able to join their team instead of y'all can see me, but when I clicked on the link on the website, it only gave me audio.
okay. You want to get that fixed with our IT guy.
Well, look on the, can you look, Teresa, can you look on the post in that Catherine sent out? I can.
You know what?
Yes,
I'll try that.
yeah, try that and then you should be able to link up to it.
Perfect. Let me do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check it up and I'll see if I get that.
Okay, all right. Moving here.
Ready?
What are we worrying about?
8 o'clock. Good morning. Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District on February 27th, 2024 at 8 a.m. at the district's office located at 1605 Whitaker Drive, Friendswood, Texas. I'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for an invocation and the pledge. Mr. Gibson.
Lord, we're thankful for our drainage district, people that work in it and support it. We ask you to give us this knowledge, strength, and the patience to improve our resilience. We ask these things in thy name.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, citizens' comments. Members of the public are invited to give comments at this time lasting no longer than 3 minutes. Anybody would like to address the district?
I'd like to address the district and thank you all for the district board members that voted in support of the district doing the job that the district is charged with doing. The reason it was formed, that is to reduce flooding within the district. And I understand that was a tough thing to do last meeting. But I'm very thankful that the board members that did come out in support of it. Did the right thing, absolutely the right thing. And for that, I thank y'all.
Anybody else?
All right. I think I know everybody here, but just for the record, I am Don Johnson. I am a Friendswood resident. And come to my attention, there's been a little bit of confusion about when I come here, what hat am I wearing? Because I do have associations with other entities. The hat I'm wearing is Friendswood resident. Somebody who has a home in the city of Friendswood and lives alongside Clear Creek and has for decades come down here and been interested in the policies and what's going on with flood reduction. So make no mistake, when I stand up and speak, I am speaking for myself as a Friendswood resident. And I'm not bringing you a message from any other entity or any other governmental body in Galveston County. I'm bringing you a message from myself. Thank you.
Anybody else? Item 5, review and take action on Enterprise Clear Creek Teen Pipeline, final drainage plan, enterprise products. Our motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, show it to be unanimous.
And Teresa, I don't know,
Pardon me?
can you hear
Oh,
me?
Teresa's with us.
I have been, yes. I am abstaining from that vote. I don't know if you can see me.
I can see you.
You can?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. So I'm abstaining from the enterprise vote. I just want to be clear about that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, show it to be unanimous. Teresa is with us. We can see her and we can hear her. Item B, review and take action on Lakes at Westland Ranch, Section 1 preliminary plat, LJA Planning and Landscape Architect. By your motion?
Motion.
Second. A motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Show it to be unanimous. Item C, review and take action on Lakes at Friendswood Ranch, Section 2 preliminary plat, LJA Planning and Landscape Architect. Do I hear a motion?
Motion. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Show it to be unanimous. D, review and take action on Lakes at Westland Ranch, Section 3, preliminary plat, LJA Planning and Landscape Architect. Do I hear a motion? Motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Show it to be unanimous. Item E, review and take action on 3213 FM 517 final drainage plan, Lentz Engineering. Do I hear a motion?
Motion discussed.
Do I have a second? Second. Got a motion to discuss. Russ, do you have the floor? Then you're next.
I just want to make sure, Scott, the board's talked about this a lot, that we have a loan open in the city, just to read it in the public record. And if there's any development after this is approved, it will come back to us for mitigation of any drainage and flooding.
Is that correct?
Correct. Okay. That's all I wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Same question I had.
Yep, this is just to improve their undeveloped flood right now, their drainage, right? Their drainage path through the adjoining property was blocked. Letting them hook into the Madera Ditch Regional Detention Facility.
Which was the original drain?
Well, they actually went to the east, but it's the same drainage area, correct?
All right, any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Show it to be unanimous. Item 6, the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody would like to remove?
I have a proposal on the minutes that I'd like.
On the 13th?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll remove that. And do I hear a motion on the item A consent, February 27th bills? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Jim, go ahead.
Minutes on discuss and take possible action on the board president's conduct as it relates to board policy manual. Section 7.8 entitled responsibilities. There, Joseph did a good job putting all this together, but there are a lot of errors in this. And what I would suggest is that we change all this verbiage to a robust discussion was had concerning the motion. And for instance, a recording is available. And then go to discussion, motion. Director Burkett made a motion to renominate the board president and to remove President Holland as president. There was no second, so the motion failed. In other words, remove all that verbiage. If anybody wants to go follow it, go to the recording and listen to it. Because there's a lot of tone that's not captured in this, but there are some significant errors in it. That's my proposal.
I second that.
I'll get with you right after the meeting too. I can make sure I get there right there. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, Jim. Operation Managers Report. Tell me about it.
There are 2 queens at Castlewood Detention Pond.
Is that number 3?
Yes. They're digging and currently we're getting a concrete crew in there to do the pilot channels and overflow. And they're starting to dig on the detention pond 2 now. And once back on number 3, once they get all the concrete poured and stuff, then we'll have it hydro mulched and it'll be finished then.
How much did we gain there
Do
approximately?
you remember 3 ponds together was around 30 acre feet, combined?
And then we're working on detention pond 2, and I've got to meet with the city because they've got a sewer main that runs directly along the parallel with Cars Creek. And for some reason, there's an offset on it for like, where we're like 50 or 60 foot from it. And I'm wanting to see if we can come 20 or 30 foot closer to capture more volume. But I've got to work with the city.
And you're working with the city on Quaker as well.
Quaker's Landing at Quaker's Landing, we've got a sewer line over there that the city went out with a contractor to get bids to relocate that. So we can finish digging at Quaker's Landing as well. At Mary's Creek, they are continuing to do the inline detention. You remember a while back I was saying the original inline detention back in 2010, it was a smaller scale. But at that time, the district could only afford to do a partial of about half of it. So now we're finally coming back and we're finishing doing that section as well. And so we lack about a month and a half there. And then we'll have that all hydro mulched and grass seeded as well. Mowing crew's been staying busy. Now the grass is starting to grow, it's warming up. So they're starting to pick up pretty much. On at the last meeting about the Eagle Lakes outfall crossing over here, where we found out that there was a piece of plywood and tree debris there that's got removed, so the water levels have came down. And in normal situations, when the mowing crews are out mowing in full swing, well, they always notice stuff and they always report it, and then they always take care of it and get it, make sure, the debris is picked up and removed. I think other than that, that's all I have, unless y'all has a question.
Baker Road,
Oh, Baker Road, yes. He's probably got a month and a half, 2 months there rebuilding that bank by the outfall for Baker Road detention.
we had Friday, a situation where a homeowner reported that there was something going on in the creek. It was black. What did you
Yeah, there
find
was
out there?
black and some dead fish and stuff, and I was out with my father, but had the crew leaders check it out, and they went all the way up to the district line and stuff and couldn't find no illegal discharges from us. So then it went further upstream, and it was something upstream from us. And yesterday, the game wardens contacted us, and they were also in Friendswood collecting samples and stuff and seeing what the cause of it was. But the water at Baker Road now is clear, and it's just everything has to have time to flush out.
That's probably enough on that. Anything else for Joseph?
You remember, Joseph, the last time we did that water study, the main ingredient in the creek was feces. You remember that? So it was animal feces. So the creek's been pretty clean, the creek. So that was our main, remember that was the main, I think that was a meeting about last year sometime we had, when they did a water report.
80%.
Yeah, it was something like that.
And years ago, I hosted a meeting here for PCQ. They were doing their water quality. And down on the Dickinson Bayou, which is all pasture land, cattle land, all out there. And their end result was that it was from cattle poop. That was the biggest problem. So,
But that's all I have. Unless y'all-
Thank you. Anybody else? Teresa,
I have nothing.
thank you. Item 8, administrative manager's report.
The only thing I have to report is that the auditor's presentation is added to the next meeting.
And we have a meeting this week with the auditors at 8 AM or something.
Yeah, just to review, for us to review before they make their presentation.
Anybody got any questions for Kathy? What? Scott, you got the floor.
All right. So we're chugging along with several attachment 4, simplified detention procedures for single family residents each week. Probably we're averaging about 3 or 4 a week. Reviews kind of fluctuates, right? We're getting a lot of plat reviews down the League City side of things, Dixon Bayou watershed, that area. And we did get some good news. We're approved to start working on the Whitaker Basin expansion. So we got that in the queue, working on that. And then I think we're going to meet to discuss the forest, what direction the 2 options that we're going to take. We're going to discuss that in executive session. The DCM, the newly effective DCM has been finalized. We're working with the IT to get it posted to the website so everybody could access it. With all reviews going forward that weren't submitted pre-approval and pre-last meeting date, they're going to go by that DCM.
Any questions for Scott? We got some stuff working.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about 2018 email that has come up again. We're talking about 10 acres. You were included originally before you came to be here.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that's an interesting 10-acre deal.
Yeah, and then there's one engineer has reached out to me too, not on that, but on a development off the wilderness. They're going to probably approach the board about use of pump detention. So he asked me. The city said that they were going to approve that, but they had to get approval from us. I said it's a case by case situation with the board. They're open to it, but you've got to present your case and they've got to act on it. So be looking for that potentially next meeting. Haven't officially seen a request. He did reach out to me, I think, yesterday or Friday. Yeah.
Any questions for Scott?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Teresa.
When do you plan to discuss the Forest of Friendswood project?
Today in executive session.
Today?
Yep.
I'd like to ask if, because I don't think you'll be able to bring me in by video to the executive session, will you?
Yes, I will. I'll bring you that laptop in. You'll be with us wherever we go.
I'd like to be present for the discussion on Forest of Friendswood.
That is my intention.
Okay, thank you.
City of Friendswood Council liaison.
I really don't have anything on drainage. I do want to briefly mention in our last meeting that we were awarded $250,000 and with HGAC, we're going to be reviewing the best route for Friendswood Parkway. And we have a subdivision going in over there, maybe 2, and we're going to really need to figure out where the best route is for Friendswood Parkway. And I know we'll get a League City report on what they're doing over there with the League City Parkway. But so that we're on that. I know that was approved to get that study done and have that mark from 5/28 to 23/51.
Thank you. Any questions for Robert? No engineer, no P and Z. Matt?
Good morning. Just a heads up or just an update on the Westland Ranch development. We have approved plans and that they're authorized to work on various projects out there and some of this is reiteration from previous meetings, but again, Magnolia Bayou South to 517, that project is authorized. Muldoon Parkway extending to the boundary of their property is authorized.
McFarland?
Excuse me.
McFarland?
Last time I talked to, so just a heads up, we are doing some for maintenance out there. Those trucks that torn that McFarland Road up pretty bad. So much to the point to where, I had authorized some no through truck signs on McFarland Road, and, our League City PD had their commercial truck division out there doing some random checks to kind of deter those trucks from that route. So last time I talked to Jody, he said that looks better now. The traffic has decreased, and he's got every intention of doing some maintenance out there.
What are you gonna box blend it?
I think so.
Okay.
But again, on Newton Parkway extension to the boundary of Westland Ranch. And then there's a handful of sections out there that they're authorized to work on. Lakes of Westland Ranch, section 6, which is on the south half of that development. Then you got Westland Ranch, sections 8 and 9, which is on the north portion of that development. So the aggression is picked up regarding that community. And then just an update on League City Parkway. So I have spoken with the developer and engineer for those projects. They have expressed to me that they have every intent of completing the missing 2 lanes on League City Parkway that somewhat are in the vicinity of Magnolia Creek Golf Course. That is going to be their first priority. Matter of fact, you should already see some work going on out there. There's and just a heads up for anyone that lives in that vicinity, there's a portion of that sidewalk that's gonna have to be relocated. So, pedestrians are gonna kind of be, impeded temporarily, but, we told them that needs to be a priority as far as getting that back in place and whatnot. So, but once they finish those 2 missing lanes there in the vicinity of the golf course, then the next course of action will be moved to the Friendswood portion and make that connection. And we've expressed to them that, we'll keep the city of Friendswood and you guys in the loop on that. And all that coordination that will be required. So, I think that covers about everything, but if y'all got any questions for me, I'm here.
Once that connection's made, they can discontinue that temporary pond to get it developed.
Yeah. And then I guess one project I forgot to mention is that they're still in construction phase of expanding that, what they call the Santa Fe detention, but there's a pond on the southern half of Westland Ranch that's being expanded.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions for Matt? Item 12, regional floodplain correspondent Peggy.
Good morning, everybody. To follow up on the discussion very briefly about the water quality of Clear Creek. A year or so ago, HGAC formed a committee to study the water quality and have more of an awareness and an advocacy initiative. And after several meetings, there was the general consensus that a lot of the problems we're having on the creek, it is driven by our citizens. The example of the animal feces, and that was the main contributor. So as we move forward, we talked about going to different organizations, talking about the importance of self-responsibility. I don't know that it's necessarily been as active as it should be, but as TCEQ is monitoring the water quality, we at HGAC have the idea in our mind that if it looks like there's any additional issues, we will just keep the committee communicating and trying to reach out to different civic groups. So again, it's our citizens that are causing some of the issues, and we understand that, but it is controllable, and that's what we need to take responsibility for. I'd like to thank those of you who continue to support the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee. I think the showing of support from the district and from Friendswood is absolutely outstanding. I think Harris County Flood Control District continues to support our initiative, continues to provide administrative support, and I think a lot of it is due to our growing attendance at our meetings and the expression of interest, not only from our citizens, but from our elected officials. At the GCPD meeting, Gulf Coast Protection District meeting, last week.
Becky. I think it's because of the stellar job that the chairman's doing.
Well,
Vice chairman.
thank
Vice
you,
chairman.
thank you,
Vice
Chairman.
chairman.
Yes, sir. It's a package. It's a package. And thank you. And you know what? I won't take issue with that. So I appreciate the compliment. And I do think we have moved the ball forward, and I'm very proud of that. For the Gulf Coast Protection District meeting last week, the agreements between the district and GLO, and then the separate agreement with the Corps, those are continuing. The importance of having those agreements in place prior to whatever funding we can get is that we will be able to recognize in-kind work. Additionally, GLO has found a new sand source around the Lake Livingston, San Jacinto River area. All of those types of activities will help us as we go forward when there is money to demonstrate that we have protections in place for sand replenishment. That is huge. And so it doesn't appear we're moving forward because everybody thinks we're held up with the funding. That certainly is a big part of it. But let me tell you, there's a lot of effort underway behind the scenes to protect ourselves, that we will be able to answer the questions that we know will be raised when the funding comes forward. There is a vacancy on the Gulf Coast Protection District board, and that is because of the death of Bo Caroga. He was the Galveston County representative on the district board, and that position is appointed by county commissioners. There is a lot of interest that's being expressed by members of our community to be considered for that position. I think that the commissioners are just now beginning to have the serious discussions about how they're going to move forward with that. Those of us who have a chance to talk to commissioners, I think it would be absolutely great to have a full board in place and be ready when we get any drop of federal monies is really important. And at this point, it's not a matter of who you support. That's up to you. It's just a matter that we need to have a strong Galveston County representative on that board. So to the extent you could be aware of that, if you're interested, educate yourselves. And then if you want to move forward and have a voice with the commissioner or commissioner's court, that would be absolutely great. We are running for the cliff on the federal budget. At midnight Friday, we will be out of money again. All the indications are that we're going to go forward with another 2-week CR. There are 4 of the 12 departments that are in need to be addressed by Friday midnight. I don't expect that with the chaos we've got, anything will happen other than we'll just CR our way through April. At the end of April, we've got a policy in place that says if we continue not to have an agreed to budget, that we will start having automatic spending cuts. So we may well find ourselves continuing to do the CR until we get to the end of April. Everybody's going to recognize now this is really, really serious because we will face it's basically sequestration. So I suspect it'll be more of the same, which will not bode well for us looking at any positive action on the budget soon. But I just think we need to keep our voices heard with our elected officials. And in closing, about 13 years ago, I started an organization in League City. It's called the HOA Alliance, and we are now up to 25 HOAs that are members of our group. And the purpose is to enhance communication among our citizens and our HOAs. As I'm listening to the discussions in the community about drainage, I'm floating this publicly because I'd really like to get an idea. I think in the next year, if not sooner, I would like to think about inviting those of you who would care to attend to speak to our group. I think it's getting to be more and more important when our citizens hear about your group, your district, that they don't look at it as the Friendswood district. They look at it as a large part of Western Lake City is going to be impacted. I do have a concern because you are a taxing entity. If you listen to conservative groups who talk, it's all about reducing taxes. I would like to find a way to enhance the communication and the awareness with our Lake City citizens. I'm leaning toward thinking the Alliance may be an absolutely great way to have that discussion. Additionally, we typically have probably 2 or 3 city councilmen who attend. And so think about this. If you're open to it, let me know.
I'm open.
Then it's done. And so I will figure out, we meet quarterly. We just had a very successful meeting with the police department of Lake City. So we'll start working toward that. And I would like for you to give me additional suggestions as to how we can further the communication within the region. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Peggy? Board of Directors reports, Lonnie?
The only thing I've got to report that I think I'm seeing to meet this evening, please.
Thank you, Lonnie. Rusty?
Yes, sir. Thanks for the message, Peggy. Tax introduction, music mayors. I want to talk, I'm Frenchman's Creek with the board. I'm looking forward to the project. It looks like we're heading that way for a project from the district, Frenchman's Creek. Looking forward to discussing it with the board. It's an existing neighborhood in Frenchman, and old streets. I think Mr. Hill, I think some of our relatives have some, maybe put some of those in maybe a long time ago. I don't know. Maybe it was Shady Crest. I'm thinking of Fairland. But anyway, no sidewalks. Streets are in not great shape. I've had the luxury of seeing about every truck about 100 feet from my door come by. They've done, the county and the city did a great job back there. It looks really good. What I want to be cognizant of, same thing in the Forest of Friends or any existing neighborhood that's beautiful, is hopefully with the board's support, we can do a flood mitigation project that benefits the greater good of the district, the neighbors back there on Pine and that flood prone area. So it does its job, lowers the water level in Friendswood, and it's beautiful because the neighborhood back there is beautiful. I want to continue to really hopefully prioritize our projects from 528 down towards the Barrier Bridge in the southern part of our district, whether it's acquisition of land, projects that work on conveyance. I think that's very, very important here for our southern drain in the city. So our projects up north matter. I wanted to say a clarification on a couple of things. On the voting percentage discussion last week, 90-something% of our votes here are on criteria manual and neighborhoods, new neighborhoods, stuff that meets our criteria manual. So yes, there is no doubt that the board votes together the majority of the time on issues with criteria. And we have the ability to change that criteria manual as we did with things here recently to reflect the board and its direction it wants to go for the district. The last thing is I want to read in a letter to the record about a discussion last week about my conversation with Mr. Harris when I first got on the board. And the letter can speak for itself. It says, ladies and gentlemen, I feel compelled to address the recent claims made by Lonnie Moffitt regarding the incident involving Mr. Harris and myself during my ceremonial swearing-in ceremony. It is important to set the record straight on this matter, particularly regarding Mr. Harris's role in the altercation. Following my election victory with a 20% margin against the incumbent, Mr. Harris, who had never engaged me in conversation with me previously, took it upon himself to confront me in an agitated state. He expressed doubts about my longevity in the role, citing his disapproval of my campaign's homestead and general taxing message. Contrary to Lonnie's erroneous assertions, I did not instigate any conflict with Mr. Harris. I did not instigate conversation whatsoever. It is imperative to clarify that Mr. Harris initiated the contact and displayed clear signs of agitation. The situation did not escalate to any physical confrontation. As we remained seated throughout the whole exchange, maintaining the distance of at least 10 feet, he was sitting in Mr. Gibson's chair. I wish to emphasize the presence of Mr. Joseph Anderson, who can provide an impartial account of the events without taking sides. That's important. I urge Lonnie to acknowledge these facts and issue a public apology for disseminating inaccurate information to the public. In conclusion, transparency, truthfulness are paramount, especially in matters that involve public statements and allegations. Your understanding and intentions, this clarification are greatly appreciated, and we'll go on the public record for this meeting. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Mr. Gibson,
We are disappointed that work hadn't started on FM 1959 detention basin. Harris County Flood Control is moving like a snail. They promised us that they would start this Monday, and hopefully it will be sometime this week. And they are scheduled to have a public meeting to explain the project sometime in March. I don't know that that date has been set yet. But we will all be happy when we see yellow equipment out on that land. Kevin and I and Scott attended a developers strategy meeting session at Lake City. And I thought it was real good. They had developers for Lake City there asking about what the city could do better to help the development and what they were doing wrong. I thought they got some real good ideas. And thank Matt for inviting us to come to that. That's all I have.
thank you. Director Burkett, can you let us know when Frenchman Creek's HOA meeting is so we can get over there and talk to them about that project?
Yes, sir.
We don't own the land. I'm looking at the man with the city that does own the land. So let's open up some dialogue. I think it'd be prudent to attend that HOA meeting with somebody from the city.
Just let me know when.
That's in the heart of their community, so I think it's gonna be a little more difficult to go in there without some dirt, without some kind of drawing to represent what the intentions are, but the burden's on y'all at this point.
Yeah, I haven't heard that we're planning on any drainage at this time because with Whitaker kicking off and Whitcomb kicking off, there's a lot of stuff they got in the pipeline with Deepwood too and with y'all. And so I don't know that they're planning anything in the near future, but it looks great over there. I drove by there yesterday and it really looks, they did a great job. It's all smoothed out and it looks good.
I think the statement was as funds are available.
Yeah.
That's all I got. You guys, please fill out your director's monthly timesheets. And we're gonna convene into executive session. People that are here, please sign the documents in there that need to be signed so people can move on down the road. We're going to convene into executive session. The board of directors will convene into closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.072. Discussion regarding real property and pursuant to Section 551.074 personnel matters. We'll be back out as things develop.